Hi everyone, welcome back to the Code Step by Step channel. My name is Aril Sidhu, and in this part we will learn how we can create our first file in Laravel. So in last part we installed the Laravel properly and we ran our Laravel application also. Now in this part we will learn 2-3 things which is very important. How we can create our first file, how we can make our first change, or how you can show output without creating any file. We'll discuss few important interview questions also, and if you will see any error on the console while you are running a Laravel application like this and this, then how you can resolve them, that we will also discuss in this part. So now let's move on the code, and here you will see lots of files and folders. So in next part we'll discuss what is the use of these files, what is the role and responsibility of these folders. We'll discuss each and everything, don't worry. But first of all we have to understand which file is responsible for initial output actually, so that you will get a bit familiar with the Laravel and you can create your few files for check the output on the browser. All right, so first of all you have to go to the resources folder, and there you will find a view folder, and inside this we have welcome.blade.php. Even in last part I also shown you that file. So if you make some changes there, so let's say I'm putting their h1 tag there and putting their hello Laravel, then you will see this output on the browser. Let me refresh it there, and there you can see that. So by default some style is already applied, that's why this is look like this. So what you can do, you can remove all of the text from there, all the content from this file, and then you can again put hello Laravel, and you can check this output on the browser. Here you can see that this is perfectly working fine. Okay, so this is the way that how you can create your first change, but maybe you are interested in how we can create our first file also. So in same folder you can create one more file. Let's say I want to put this file name is home.blade.php, and maybe you have few questions there like why we are creating these files in the view folder. I'll let you know when we will come to the folder and file structure of Laravel. And second question you can ask, what is that blade there? See, in a simple words, if I'm just telling you in a very simple way, blade is basically template engine that is used with the Laravel, so that you can create some basic calculation. You can call PHP functions inside the HTML directly. So this is the simplest definition. We'll deep dive the views and blade template files in the upcoming parts, but now let's back to the topic. So this is the way that how you can create your new file, and let me again add there, let me create some basic HTML form like this, and there let's take h1 tag, and there I'm putting, let's say, home page like this. So how I can access this page? So maybe you can think, if I'll put there home, then maybe we can access no home.php, home.blade.php. It will not work because this is not how Laravel works. You have to define the routes if you want to access any view file. So how we can define that? So for that you have to go inside the routes folder. Again, this is inside the resources folder only. So in the resources we have few folders: CSS, JS, views, and then routes. There you can open web.php, and here you can see that we have a view function, and inside this we return here welcome is already written. That's why this welcome.blade.php is working. So if I put there home like this, then if I refresh it, then you will see that that content is coming from that home.blade.php. So for each file, whatever you want to display there, you have to create a route basically. So now we can only see home file. So let's say if you want to see both files, again we'll deep dive the routes in some other part, but let me show you. So let's say if you want to access the home on the home route, then you can do like this. So there you will see we have hello Laravel, which is coming from blade welcome.blade.php, and if you now use their home, you can see that the content is coming from the home.blade.php file like this. So this is how you can create your first file and show that output on the browser. So now I mentioned one more point there, output without file. So what does that mean? So in the web.php, so if you don't want to return any file there, if you don't want to show any file there, directly you can write some code. Maybe, so let's say if you want to show h1 tag, and if you'll put there hello Laravel, and definitely you must have to put their semicolon at the end and then go to the root directory, then you will see hello Laravel. So I think this is a little bit confusing because on the both places here and here I put there hello Laravel. So let me put there hello Anil Sidhu, which is my name. Here you can see that. So if you just want to show a small text, you don't need to create a file directly. You can return the text from here only. Don't worry, we'll deep dive the routes and views and blade and everything in the detail. But I hope you got to know there how we can make our first change, how we can create our first file, how we can show the output without file in interview question, which is very interesting thing. Here you can see that if I put there home, you can see that this data is coming from the home.blade.php, which is there. So what if I remove their blade from here? So will it still work or not? The answer is yes, it will still work. Here you can see that. So in a view folder, if you try to access some file with the help of route and there is no blade extension in the middle, it will still work. So blade is basically template engine that help us to write some PHP code, some calculation that we can do inside that HTML. So for that this is used. But if you don't mention their blade extension in the middle of any UI file, it will still work with the routing. Here you can see the example. So now let's discuss the last thing also, how we can remove the database error. So if I just come there, you can see that we have lots of database errors there. This is because we haven't created the Laravel application database. So that's why we are seeing that error, and that will create in after some time, after some parts actually. So whenever we will reach on the database topics, but how we can remove it for now. So you have to move on the env.env file, and there you will see quick connection. Then you have to mention their sync, and their cache store you have to mention their file, and then you have to restart your composer, run dev, and now you will see we don't have such errors like we have the above, right? So this is how you can remove these you can say that database errors from your application if they're present in your console, and if they are not present, then don't worry, you don't need to make any change there. All right, so thank you so much for this part. If you still have any query, question, you can ask me in the comment section. Please like this video and give your feedback and subscribe this channel. Thanks everyone.